Hello. Today we're going to discuss about 5 signs an elderly person may be in their final year, subtle warnings you shouldn't ignore. If you find this topic valuable, make sure to like and subscribe before we go into detail. It really helps us continue to post more useful content that could support you or your loved ones during this sensitive time. In this video, we'll walk you through the subtle physical, emotional, and behavioral signs that often signal an elderly individual may be nearing the final stage of life. These are not always obvious, and sometimes they're mistaken for regular aging symptoms. So recognizing them early can help you prepare emotionally, practically, and medically. You'll learn how to spot these signs, how to support the person going through them, and what kind of steps can be taken to make their final phase more peaceful and dignified. One of the most telling signs that someone may be in their final year is a noticeable decline in appetite and thirst. It's more than just skipping a few meals or not finishing dinner. It's a deep-rooted disinterest in food altogether. You'll notice they're not even asking for their favorite meals anymore. Even when you place a well-prepared dish in front of them, they may push it away or take just a bite and leave the rest. Their thirst reduces too, to the point where drinking water feels like a chore. The body is conserving energy and redirecting resources, and often, the body knows it's preparing for closure. This is usually accompanied by weight loss that looks and feels different. The cheeks sink, the collarbones become prominent, clothes begin to hang loosely, and the arms and legs begin to appear thinner. This isn't just a weight fluctuation. It's the body quietly slowing down its systems in preparation for the end. Another subtle but incredibly powerful warning sign is social withdrawal. The person may begin detaching emotionally from the people they once enjoyed spending time with. Phone calls go unanswered. Invitations are declined. Even within the home, they may prefer being in their room alone rather than engaging in conversation. You'll notice they no longer initiate discussions, and when you try to involve them, their responses are shorter, even distant. This isn't necessarily depression, although it might overlap. It's more of an internal retreat. It's as if they're preparing to let go of this world and their connections to it. Their mind is slowly turning inward, reflecting more, talking less, and existing in a quiet state of emotional detachment. That a third sign is increasing fatigue and prolonged sleep. Unlike normal tiredness, this is a deep and pervasive exhaustion that doesn't go away with rest. The person may spend more time in bed, napping during the day, and sleeping longer at night, yet still waking up tired. It may become difficult for them to hold conversations without needing to pause and rest. Simple tasks like brushing their hair or walking a few steps begin to feel like climbing a mountain. You might notice their eyes look heavier, their speech slower, and their body language more slumped. It's not laziness. It's the body's way of conserving energy for only the most essential functions. The muscles weaken, the heart slows, and the brain begins to process things more sluggishly. It's a silent fading, often mistaken for aging, but with a deeper significance. Changes in skin tone and circulation are another signal that shouldn't be overlooked. You might see their skin becoming more pale or bluish, especially in the hands, feet, and around the lips. These are signs of reduced circulation, which is common when the heart begins to work less efficiently. The skin may also appear blotchy, and there might be a noticeable coolness when you touch their hands or feet. At times, you might notice tiny bruises forming more easily or small cuts taking much longer to heal. This isn't just fragile skin. It's a sign that the body's ability to heal and maintain itself is declining. Their nails may become more brittle, and the hair may fall out more than usual. All of this points to the body slowing down its regenerative processes, often signaling that the person is nearing the end of their physical journey. Lastly, and perhaps the most emotionally difficult sign, is a subtle shift in awareness or mental clarity. The person may start experiencing moments of confusion or memory lapses, even if they've never shown signs of dementia before. They may forget names, dates, or where they are. But it goes deeper than simple forgetfulness. Sometimes they'll speak in metaphors, referring to going home or packing for a trip without any real context. These expressions, although abstract, often reflect an inner readiness for transition. Some people even speak of seeing loved ones who've already passed away. These aren't hallucinations in the clinical sense. They are deeply personal spiritual experiences that often accompany the end-of-life phase. It's as if the boundary between the physical world and the spiritual one begins to fade. They may become more reflective, speaking about unresolved emotions, expressing gratitude, or even apologizing unexpectedly. It's their way of closing emotional loops before they depart. When you notice a combination of these signs, it's crucial not to panic, but to become more intentional in your care. This is a time to increase compassion, listen more than you speak, and ensure comfort in every form possible. It's the moment to focus less on medical interventions and more on emotional peace, dignity, and meaningful presence. This may be the period where your love, your time, and your patience are the greatest gifts you can give. As difficult as it may be, this is also a sacred time. It is when we have the opportunity to help someone transition from this life with grace, surrounded by warmth, kindness, and presence. Even though the end of life is a painful subject, it's also a universal truth that connects all of us. By recognizing these signs and approaching them with care rather than fear, we can offer support that honors the life of the person we love. We can make their final days less about loss and more about love, less about fear and more about peace. Keep watching as we continue to explore these signs in more depth. There's still more to uncover. What happens emotionally during the final months, what families often overlook, and how to prepare for goodbye in a way that leaves no regret. Let's keep going. Now let's talk about the emotional language of the final months. There's often a change in the tone of their voice, not just physically, but emotionally. They might begin to speak more softly, more slowly, with pauses that seem like they're searching for meaning or connection. Even the words they choose become more sentimental. Instead of talking about routine matters, they might recall memories from childhood or speak about people they haven't mentioned in years. This sudden emotional depth is not just nostalgia. It's often a subconscious way of tying loose ends, wrapping up a life story that's nearing its final chapter. Watch out for the shift. It's meaningful and deserves attention, even if it seems minor in the moment. This shift in emotional expression can also lead to a deep need for resolution. You might notice them wanting to reconnect with people they haven't spoken to in years, perhaps trying to make amends or offer forgiveness. Sometimes, they might even bring up old conflicts, not out of anger, but in an effort to bring closure. They may express regrets or speak openly about mistakes they made in their life, something they never did before. These conversations are not to be dismissed as ramblings or weakness. They are often final reflections, a soul's way of organizing its journey before leaving. You'll notice their need for emotional honesty increases. They may confess feelings they've hidden for decades, or suddenly feel the need to say, "I love you" more often, or even "thank you" and "I'm sorry" with deeper meaning. These aren't just words anymore. They carry the weight of a lifetime. As these emotional signs grow, so does a sense of surrender. You might witness them becoming less concerned with the future. Plans, appointments, long-term thinking, even curiosity about news or daily events may fade. Their attention becomes more present, more immediate. They begin to live moment by moment, often focusing on small things. A song from their youth, the warmth of sunlight, or the feel of a blanket on their skin. It's a beautiful and sometimes heartbreaking simplicity that replaces the complexity of ordinary life. They may even stop asking about the outside world or lose interest in things that once brought them joy, not out of sadness, but because their priorities are shifting inward. This psychological surrender is not giving up, it's letting go. It's peace beginning to take root where fear used to live. During this phase, their spiritual awareness may heighten, regardless of religious belief. You might hear them speak more about what comes next, about seeing those who passed away, or about dreams that feel incredibly vivid. These experiences, though unexplainable, are not unusual. Many people nearing the end of life begin to sense the presence of something beyond this world. They may describe dreams of crossing bridges, seeing light, or talking with deceased family members. These moments, whether symbolic or real, bring a strange comfort. Even people who never believed in anything spiritual might express a sudden openness to the idea that this life is not the end. And for family members witnessing this, it can be both unsettling and beautiful. It's a powerful sign that the person is mentally and spiritually preparing for the next step. At this point, you may also notice changes in breathing. Breathing patterns can become irregular, shallow, or even stop for a few seconds and resume. This isn't always a sign of distress, but rather another way the body is slowly transitioning. There might be a sound known as the death rattle, where mucus gathers in the throat due to a weaker swallow reflex. It sounds alarming, but it's usually not painful. It's just part of the physical shift taking place. You might also see their facial expressions soften, sometimes smiling without any external reason, or even appearing joyful while their eyes are closed. These aren't just medical signs. They're signals from the body that it is letting go in the gentlest way it knows how. Another important change is their sense of time and awareness of day or night. They may become disoriented, not recognizing whether it's morning or evening, or confused dates and timelines. It's not always dementia. Often, it's a part of the body's circadian rhythm unraveling. They begin to live more by instinct than by the clock. This also affects how they communicate. Sometimes they'll speak clearly one moment and seem completely disconnected the next. They may say things that seem nonsensical, but to them, they hold meaning. It's important during these moments to listen without correcting or interrupting. Sometimes, just your quiet presence is enough. They may not remember the details of the conversation, but they will remember how you made them feel as the final year progresses. You may also notice a subtle shift in how they view themselves. There's less attachment to identity, achievements, or possessions. Things that once seemed important, titles, savings, appearances, suddenly lose significance. You may hear phrases like, "I don't need that anymore," or "it doesn't matter." This detachment isn't sadness. It's clarity. It's the soul simplifying life before departure. This is often the best time for families to let go of trying to fix things and instead focus on just being there. Let them lead the conversations. Let them decide when to rest and when to talk. Let them feel in control of something, even if it's just choosing what music to listen to or whether they want a window open. And amidst all these signs, the greatest act of love is presence. Not fixing, not advising, but being, sitting beside them, holding their hand, sharing silence. These are the moments that stay etched in memory for a lifetime. These are the final gifts we can offer. If the person still has energy, talk about the good times, flip through old photo albums, bring the smell of flowers into the room, play songs they loved in their youth. These small gestures create emotional warmth that medicine never can. Because in the end, it's not about curing. It's about comforting. It's not about extending time. It's about enriching the moments left. In the final stretch of life, something changes in how the person relates to the world around them. You'll notice a stillness that wasn't there before. They become quieter, more inward, like they're listening to something far beyond what we can hear. Sometimes they'll stare into the distance, eyes fixed on something unseen. You might catch them smiling at nothing or whispering softly to someone who isn't there. These moments are not random. They are part of a natural transition, a gentle separation of the spirit from the world. Often they seem to be in two places at once, still physically here, but already preparing for somewhere else. This liminal space is hard to understand from the outside, but it is incredibly sacred. The person may also begin to talk in ways that seem symbolic. They'll mention journeys, packing, catching a train, or going somewhere soon. They might ask about people who've already passed away as if expecting them to arrive. These aren't hallucinations. These are metaphors for departure. It's the subconscious trying to express what words can't fully explain. And in many cases, these metaphors bring peace. If they start saying things like "I'm ready" or "I've had a good life," it's important to listen with your heart. Don't try to deny it or change the subject. Sometimes the most powerful comfort you can offer is to simply say, "I'm here with you," and it's okay to in the final weeks, their body often begins to shut down specific systems. The kidneys may slow, leading to darker or reduced urine. Digestion may almost completely stop, and they may reject food entirely. Trying to force meals or water only causes more discomfort. It's hard to watch, but it's not suffering. It's the body gradually turning inward, conserving the last bits of energy. The skin may grow cooler to the touch, sometimes appearing blotchy or bluish in the extremities. This is not a crisis. It's a signal that circulation is focused on keeping the core organs functioning for as long as possible. Their breathing may shift again, sometimes becoming labored or irregular. These changes are natural. They're not signs that something has gone wrong. They're signs that the body is letting go on its own terms. Emotional clarity often becomes sharper near the very end. Some people have moments of lucidity, where they suddenly become fully alert, speak clearly, recognize everyone in the room, and express exactly what's in their heart. These moments are brief, but powerful. Families often say it's like a final burst of life, like the soul saying goodbye. If this happens, don't question it. Don't spend the moment wondering how it's possible. Just be there. Hold their hand. Let them speak. Let them remember. Let them know they are loved. Because for many people, this is the final opportunity to say what matters most. These moments don't last long, and when they pass, the person may return to sleep or enter deeper unconsciousness in those final days. The room often feels different. Time slows down. The noises of the world outside fade into the background. Conversations become whispers. Movement becomes gentler. It's as if the entire space shifts to accommodate the gravity of the moment. And that's when families realize they are standing at the edge of something sacred. This is not just about someone dying. It's about someone completing their journey. Everything they have lived, everything they have loved, everything they have endured, it's all reaching a beautiful, quiet close. It's no longer about doing. It's about being. Just being there. Just being love. Just being present as death approaches. They may become unresponsive. Their eyes may not open. Their lips may not move, and they may not react to sounds. But this doesn't mean they can't hear or feel you. Research and countless personal stories show that hearing is often the last sense to go. This is your time to speak softly, gently, and say all the things that matter. Thank them. Forgive them. Tell them you love them. These words travel deeper than you can imagine. They reach beyond the physical. They offer a thread of connection between you and their soul. And if you're not sure what to say, just be there. Your presence is more than enough. Your love is more than enough as the last breath draws near. You may notice long pauses between breaths. The body becomes still. The final breath may come with a sigh, a gentle exhale, and then silence. It is the softest goodbye. It is not dramatic or loud. It is peaceful. And in that moment, the world feels both smaller and larger. Smaller because someone you love is no longer physically here. Larger because their spirit has become part of everything. What remains is love, memory, and the impact of their life on yours. Afterwards, silence may fill the space, and grief will come in waves. But remember that you were part of something deeply meaningful. You were there in their most vulnerable hour. You gave comfort when they couldn't ask for it. You gave love when they couldn't speak. That is a rare and beautiful gift. And in time, the pain of their loss will be joined by the peace of knowing you helped them find their way home.